This is Otaku No Video, Episode 19, Linebarrels of Gundam 00. So let's talk about Linebarrels of Iron.
Oh, let's talk about it.
Yeah, we were already talking about this earlier, and I think our main concern is that it just seems very similar to so many other mecha series we've watched.
Yeah, and the CG pretty much sucks.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it. It's really basic. I don't know what Gonzo... I don't know where Gonzo's going with this. But I will compliment them after, and as many of you who are listening or had listened to what I had to say about the manga, you know how much I love the manga. So, I think that the structure, especially for this first episode, was key to pulling it off, and I think they did a significantly better job than the manga does. The manga is very manga-like, so it's interesting to see them. Well, not interesting, but it's good that they're putting all these different elements together at the beginning, so we don't have to get shot over to these people, and we start out with sort of kind of everybody in the same bowl here. Obviously, we're focusing on a character or two, but we obviously we're not just sort of bombarded with character names, within.
Yeah. It's certainly a very well structured first episode.
Yeah, it's still really basic.
Definitely.
But I think it does work. I was going to think of anything else. I wasn't really thrilled about the animation quality in any way.
Agreed.
There just wasn't really anything striking about it. I felt like I was watching Evangelion with Akira character types.
Yeah, it was nice for me being a Gundam Seed and Seed Destiny fan. It was nice seeing Hisashi Hirai's designs again, just because there's something about, well, I think I just spent a lot of time with characters looking like that and very much enjoying their plot arc. So I just enjoyed that aspect of it. But I mean, that said, I'm not actually a huge fan of Hirai designs. Ironically, the end credit sequence seems to have images from the manga. At least the designs don't look like Hirai's designs. And ironically, I liked those better. They just looked cleaner and simpler and prettier. Hirai just has that... Well, it's weird. He did the designs for Infinite Revias, which are much less shiny and stylized than his current designs. I think Fafnir is where he got like the most, shiny giant eyes type. But Revias is pretty subdued. Everyone looks comparatively realistic, and I'd like to see that. So the designs are certainly were nice to see, in that they I think they're effective, and it's also nice seeing a character designer who can make characters look distinctive. I mean, too often you look at a mecha series and there are basically three character types just with different colored hair, and it looks like he definitely didn't do that here, and he's learned how to avoid that. Of course, that also has to do with doing Revias, where there were dozens and dozens and dozens of characters.
Yeah, I still feel like they lifted Gendo. I mean, it's there's this one character, and it's just like I don't even have to hear him talk. I mean, it's just from the look and the way he's positioned. He's not doing the whole hand thing, but he's definitely...
Yeah, he might as well be.
Yeah, I mean, it's very obvious. We have a Kaneda Tetsuo relationship between between two male characters, but I don't feel like it's very fleshed out. Actually, one of the things that I was going to hit the structure for was that it didn't make it... I guess the manga had more of this feel of time that had passed, and like the situation that Koichi was in. I think that's his name. Whereas in the anime, it's just sort of like you're thrown into this and blah 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 blah. But you know what? Either way, it's sort of I just don't know that I care. This is a really, really, really generic episode. Unless they knock our socks off next week, I probably won't follow this. I might follow it simply because it's on Crunchyroll almost immediately. It's one of the few things that I can actually watch from my dorm that I don't already have on my hard drive.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd like to watch it just to support, the release of things on the internet 2 hours after premiere. I mean, I think it's awesome that Gonzo is doing that, and I like to see more stuff like that.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, for the
I do want to point out the one thing that we complained about. Why the heck didn't he notice that he's covered in blood? Yeah,
that's sort of. I was waiting for
and I wouldn't mind if he glanced down and was sort of shocked and then was distracted by something else and we didn't return to it, but to at least acknowledge it at one point that wait, what's going on? But that it's sort of overtaken by other events. That I would have taken. It just the fact that it was completely unacknowledged and it's pretty darn obvious.
Yeah, and I don't really like the random naked chick, and then you have to touch her breast to access the suit of destruction.
I also don't like the fact that
that's exactly what.
I also don't like the fact that he apparently can punch walls. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
That just does not make sense to me whatsoever, and it's one of those things that came across, and I very much fear that they're turning this into a shonen mecha series, where he's going to be able to leap 3-story buildings as well as pilot a giant robot or whatever, and it just, I don't know, that doesn't seem to fit in with the mecha concept.
I've already seen Ava, so there's nothing really to comment about this. It feels almost like a parody. It's really, it wouldn't be a bad parody per se, but it's really just sort of, it just sort of sits there, I guess. And considering that this is supposed to be, I can't remember the exact wording that was used, but when the manga started, people were talking about this as the next Ava, and, well, yeah, it sort of is. It's a little bit too close to the original.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the story or anything like that, or beyond what I've read of the manga, but...
How much of the manga did you read?
Around 2 issues and 3/4.
Okay.
So, yeah, something like 12 chapters or 13 chapters.
Oh, okay, so that's more like so that's like a couple of volumes worth.
Yeah, about 2.5, 2 3/4 volumes.
Okay, cool.
That's but it was, and it's, nothing happened, so.
Yeah, and it could be, I mean, it could be one of those mecha series that just takes forever to get started. I mean, that's certainly common for mecha series, that things are pretty boring for a while, and then once you actually get all the characters established and the politics established, it actually spins up. Hard to tell, and like you said, the frustrating thing is I just have nothing to go on here. I would be more interested if they did something just completely different and then went to